Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. Today we are talking Week 16 game preview, all the starts and sits you need to know about for the Ravens and Browns. So the over-under for this one is very high at 49.5 with a spread for the Ravens of 9.5. So right now the implied point total is right around 30 to 20. Ravens are heavily favored in this one, and rightfully so. They got beaten by the Browns earlier in the season, and I think the Ravens are looking to get a little bit of a revenge in this game. The one caveat to note is Harbaugh has already mentioned that he plans on resting his players next week if they clinch the first round by this week. Then they're going to give their starters a rest next week. Well, the Bills and Patriots play on Saturday, and if the Bills can beat the Patriots in New England, which, although unlikely, is definitely possible, the Ravens would clinch the number 1 overall seed before even playing this game. So do keep that in mind. If the Ravens decide to bench their starters, obviously everything changes here, but we're going with the assumption that they will play as normal. So looking at that, obviously we're going to start Lamar Jackson. We're going to start Mark Ingram. I still like Nick Chubb in this one. Marquise Brown, Jarvis Landry, Mark Andrews, and the Ravens defense are all good starts in this one. I'm trying to avoid playing Kareem Hunt and Odell Beckham Jr., and then I'm sitting Baker Mayfield, Willie Snead, Miles Boykin, Ricky Seals-Jones, Hayden Hurst, Nick Boyle, and the Browns defense. So we'll start with the Ravens. This one's super easy. If you have Lamar Jackson, especially after what he did last week, there's no way that you're benching him over anyone else. Lamar Jackson got you to the fantasy championship. Let him win it for you and start him in your lineup. We're also starting Mark Ingram in this one, not looking anywhere else for the running backs. He's been a tremendous play most weeks, and I think this is another strong game for him. Wide receivers, we've been going back and forth all year. Marquise Brown has had a few good showings, and he typically does better against poor matchups. I think this is a good matchup for him. The Browns are middle of the road against receivers, so I'm happy to play Marquise Brown in this one, as I think he carries a pretty decent chance at a long touchdown, but I'm not going to risk it with anyone else. Tight ends, after possibly missing last week, Mark Andrews came on and still had a pretty strong performance. I think he's going to be healthier in this one, and I think it's always a good idea to start Lamar Jackson, the MVP's favorite target, so fire up Mark Andrews in this one. And of course you're going to play Baltimore's defense because they are going to eat this week. Looking at the Browns went into Baltimore earlier in the season and beat this team, but I expect Baltimore to remember this. Mayfield can't be trusted this week. Only the Chiefs have allowed less points to the quarterback than the Ravens in the last 5 weeks, so there's no way you can trust Baker Mayfield going into Week 16. The Ravens can be beaten on the ground, and Chubb is still playing really great, so I'm not going to back away from Nick Chubb. He's the only Browns player I'm really happy starting this week. Kareem Hunt has been pretty consistent, but I think his ceiling is definitely limited in this one, so I'm trying to pass if I can. Not a must bench, but just a player that I'm reconsidering. I think you probably have to start Landry at this point, even after a down week last week, and he did really well against the Ravens earlier in the season. I think his upside is lower in this one, but definitely still a high enough floor to warrant a start. But I don't like Odell Beckham in this one at all. Last time they played, Odell Beckham only had 2 catches, and the Ravens defense is even better now than it was when they played. And that was before they had traded for Peters and gotten Jimmy Smith back from injury. So I'm trying to avoid Odell Beckham. And I could also understand benching Landry in this one if you have really good options as well. But definitely more excited about Landry than Odell this week. No way I'm starting Ricky Seals-Jones, and I'm most certainly not starting the defense that's playing against Lamar Jackson. That's just not a smart idea. But anyway, I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have specific questions about this game or any game for your start-sit questions, feel free to comment below. Be more than happy to answer those. Help you guys get the best possible lineup during this crazy holiday season for you. But I hope you guys found this useful. If you did like this, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.